Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your media company. How'd you start that?
Oh my goodness, man. We're going to be talking for a while. That's for sure. I mean, we've already started this episode, so thank you guys for tuning in. By the way, the first episode was really, really successful for what we expected. I mean, we've gotten thousands of views and impressions so far, which we really didn't expect. I mean, we did this kind of like out of a whim.
Oh yeah.
Just talking about it. We definitely didn't think anything was like this in Macon, especially in a genuine sense. Now, if you go to like the news and everything like that, you got the people that paid to be on the show.
Exactly.
And it's some lady comes in and she's like, oh, let me read the clipboard real quick. And I'll ask these 4 questions about the business, and that's the end of it.
Exactly.
So at Home Macon, we wanted to take a really genuine approach right off the bat, and it seemed to work fantastic. So we're just hoping to carry that momentum through and through. But everybody that's watched, thank you so much for the first episode. We're going to continue doing about 1 to 2 of these a week. Just really letting it ride. And if you guys are interested in being on the show, please let us know if you're in Macon. We definitely love to have you. But going off of that, hey everybody, you haven't seen me. I'm Carter with Canady Media. I'm the owner of Canady Media. Canady Media is a video production agency here in Macon. And we specialize in telling your business's story, whether that's through certain forms of content, short form commercials or long form documentary style videos. We've pretty much seen it all in the couple of years that I've been active with the company. And I'm actually the one producing the show, so all the gear that's set up is mine and the company's, and this is our office. So we got a nice little backdrop going on right here.
Painted it very well.
Thank you, man. I use spray paint.
Did you?
I can't even tell you how much spray paint accumulated in my nostrils over the course of the 3 hours painting this.
So you did painter's tape and that kind of thing?
Yeah.
That's great. Great coverage.
See, I'm always a little artistic. I've always been that way, a little bit creative. And that's probably one of the reasons I started the company, is because I don't like following a set of guidelines per se. It's more like, let me be creative, let me think of something, and let me try to build something that caters to this. And I mean, Canady Media has gone through many different evolutions in the first couple years. I mean, you've been in business in real estate, so there's a little bit more guidelines, but being an entrepreneur, I mean, you started in one place. I guess you started 1 to 2 years ago? Year and a half ago? Okay, so we're like almost on the exact same time frame. I mean, you started a year and a half ago. If you would have, to go back in time right now and talk to that guy, it's like, dude, you've gone through so many different evolutions and stages, like you should just start right here. Yeah. It'd save you so much time. A little bit about Canady Media. I mean, this is going to be a very conversational episode. It's not going to be more of an interview style because we're the guys running the show, and we just wanted to introduce ourselves to you guys because when we actually interview other people, we want to be learning about them.
Exactly.
We don't want to be telling our stories too much. So I mean, every now and again, we'll probably hop on an episode and just have fun. But this is an opportunity for us to talk about who we are, so you know who the people are behind the scenes and in front of the camera. Before we go into talking to somebody, but because when we talk to somebody else, we want to talk about them and learn about their story and make it as advantageous for them as possible. A little bit about Canady Media, how it started is in 2016, I graduated high school here in Macon. I'm born and raised in Macon through and through. I'm about as purebred Macon as you could find him. As soon as I graduated high school, I went straight into Mercer University, that 2017 season of my life. Did a bunch of stuff on Mercer's campus, did fantastic in the school. I actually did fantastic in school. I know why you're scoffing.
Yeah, you'll get there. You'll get there.
No. Freshman year, I was actually really good with academia and all the stuff that I had balanced. Did
you ever declare a major while you were there?
Yes, it was actually sports management when I went into there.
Not their entrepreneurship major?
Not yet. Okay. So basically the way it ended up working out is I went to Mercer because I got some academic scholarships and I got a scholarship to be the manager for the Mercer University football team. So that was one of
You got a scholarship to do that?
Yeah.
Wow.
They just didn't pay you. They were like, hey, come work for $3,000 a semester.
Yeah,
something like
discount on your commitment.
Yeah, and Mercer's pretty expensive.
Okay.
So, whew, yeah, you're telling me. But my thought process going into it was, I'm going to be the manager for the football team. I definitely wanted to do something with football.
You a big football fan?
Big football.
Do you play football?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Where'd you go to high school?
Stratford.
Okay.
Played football all 4 years there, and I wasn't big enough or fast enough to do anything necessarily in college. I actually got looked at by South Alabama Jaguars for a stint.
What position did you play?
Offensive line.
Okay.
They were like, yeah, he's way too small. We need some beefcakes up there, just some corn-fed boys just on the front line. But no, I wasn't that person. I was worried about my appearance.
Yeah.
But going off of that, my thought process is I'm going to go into Mercer. I'm going to study my butt off. I'm going to do all these cool things. I'm going to major in sports management, and then I'm going to get a letter of recommendation from Bobby Lamb, the head football coach of Mercer University. In the way that college athletics works, everybody kind of knows everybody in a sense. So
from school to school.
From school to school.
Okay.
So like we knew people all the way in like Tennessee, the University of Miami. The thing is like we were sponsored by Adidas.
Okay.
So you kind of know all the equipment managers and stuff since I was an equipment manager, you kind of know all the equipment managers that are getting all the other Adidas stuff.
Yeah.
So like Tennessee Volunteers would send us their practice uniforms and stuff like that because we were kind of the same orange. So they would be like, hey, we got 100 extra pair of cleats. Let's just send them to you guys. You guys have orange too. You can just use these for practice or whatever.
Oh.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of knew everybody. And so my thought process was, I'm going to go into this. I'm going to get a letter of recommendation from head football coach. A few of the coaches worked my butt off for the 4 years at Mercer, being the football program, and then go on to like another college and just be like an athletic director or something in the sports realm, like a sports marketing kind of person. I mean, NFL team, I'm a big New Orleans Saints fan. That was like, if I could get to the New Orleans Saints, that's what I'm going to do. Ended up, I worked my butt off for that goal through freshman year of college. Ended up getting to a point where I finished with like a 3.9 or 4.0 that year and a ton of, I was on president's list.
That's pretty high. That's impressive being on dean's list or president's list and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and well, I appreciate that. I finished with president's list, everything like that. I was working my tail off, like, because you have to be up at 4 a.m. for football.
Yeah.
Because you got to be there before the guys. You got to set up the practice field, do their laundry, make sure it's ready and put out. Then you practice with them, and then you do all their laundry and put everything up after that.
So you're doing their laundry?
Yeah.
Is that pretty normal for equipment managers?
Yeah, it's very normal. About 40 loads a day. It's something else.
It's a lot of laundry.
So to make it a little bit shorter and sweeter, we're going to fast forward here. Finish with president's list, all these extracurriculars that I'm doing, I'm really hitting out of the park. But I didn't see any sort of reward for it. And I didn't need like a cash reward or anything like that, but I didn't see any emotional or fulfilling or spiritual kind of reward for all the hard work.
Or others? You working that fulfillment in yourself?
For myself.
Okay.
For myself, because I'm working my butt off. And I realize college is a long process, but there was no like, I'm accomplishing this for myself.
Yeah.
It was more like I'm going to fit into the system of something. I'm just building up a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Which may or may not pay off in the way I want it to. And so I've always been a little bit entrepreneurial. And so I go into my sophomore year, I'm like, let's kind of pull back from the school stuff and let's like really try to creatively find out what I want to do. Because I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew I was building up a piece of paper to give to somebody for something I may or may not want to do.
Exactly. Piece of paper being your resume or college degree?
Resume, college degree.
Yeah.
Pretty much all that stuff. Ended up going into sophomore year, pulling back from school stuff, and I ended up switching to an entrepreneurship major because I've always been like that in some sort of way. I've always been kind of weird and ADD and like gotta be working on 100 different things. I'm always thinking about something new creative to do. So I was like, let me find something to cater to that. So I ended up starting work at a building on campus called the Mercer Innovation Center. Mercer Innovation Center Mercer Innovation Center is kind of a hub for entrepreneurs. It's where I bet some of my best friends still to this day. And ended up creating a little network of people in the entrepreneurship communities that had companies. Ended up encouraging me to go out and start my own company. kind of fast forwarding a little bit more, I kind of bootstrapped through that season, that semester of figuring out what I wanted to do, trying online stuff because that was very popular, getting into the finance, the accounting, the marketing, everything like that. Ended up making a little bit of money online through some business ventures, kind of like what you did with Canady and Crow. And once I made that switch, I remember one particular night with one of my little business ventures in particular. I launched a marketing campaign, and within that night, I had made about $4,000.
Really?
For myself, after expenses, everything.
And this was you advertising or selling marketing services, or
no.
When you say business venture, what do you mean?
Venture. It was like I was selling stuff online,
like underwear.
Yeah,
used underwear.
Yeah, used underwear. No, I'd built some online businesses and like set up payment providers.
Yeah.
And had different things I was sourcing from different places. So like
drop shipping.
Yeah, kind of like drop shipping. So I'd like buy wholesale and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so like online ventures I wasn't like super passionate about, but it's getting my foot in the door with something so practical in business. Yeah. Tracking your inventory, cost of goods sold, everything like that.
$4,000 in a single day is absolutely incredible.
Yeah. And at that point in time, it was like a eureka moment went off in my head. It's like,
I can do this.
I can do this. I don't think school's for me anymore. That was the switch that flipped. Ended up basically stopped going to classes and everything. And if I was in class,
you stopped going to classes, but you were still
correct. So I'm just going downhill pretty quick. So I end up deciding that I'm gonna tune out of these classes, whether I go to the classes and just work my laptop on other things, or actually just not go to the classes. I was working my tail off to develop a business plan, because my thought process was, it's like, if I can show people this business plan and I'm making an income and I can provide for myself, then they're not going to care if I do school or not.
Exactly.
I was kind of starting to understand, like, okay, you don't have to have a college degree to be able to do all this stuff. So end up fast forward a little bit, make a little bit more money, and there was another eureka moment in particular. I remember sitting down, I was like, okay, this business venture is making me money. What parts of this do I hate? What parts of this do I love? Mm-hmm. Ended up being the inventory, customer management side of shipping and order confirmation and stuff like that I didn't love, but I really loved the marketing side.
Yeah, all the creative stuff.
Exactly. So I was like, let me try to develop something for that. So in about October 15th, 2018, Canady Media LLC was formed. And ever since then, we've kind of gone through our evolutions. We started as a full service marketing agency to handle pretty much all the KPI management of bigger companies, of just managing their key performance indicators, managing their ad spend, their campaigns. That basically ran for about a year, realized that I wasn't into that as much as providing something tangible. So that kind of modified itself into more of the social media management. We're gonna get your content, everything like that. And then about 6 months into that,
so where are we at? That was October, now we're 6 months past October, so early.
So a year, we're a year past. So I formed the LLC in October of 2019. Yeah. So about the tail end of 2019, I realized that midway through 2019, I realized I wanted to do content for companies. So I got into more of the social media management role. About 6 months into that, I realized the social media management stuff is fun. It's more tangible. It's more rewarding. But I ended up getting some camera gear to match some video projects we had gotten requests for. Didn't know how to do anything with that at all.
So you haven't always done the whole camera production, video taking?
No, this is only about 6 months old, man.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Never would have known.
It's only about 6 months old with all this stuff going on here is the video production. But in the past 6 months, I've been more successful than the past year and a half before that with business management. I guess because I don't have the chops for KPI management. It's not something I'm super passionate about. So it's not something I was super engaged with. So the video production's really where we are right now is because we love telling businesses stories. at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, is everybody's got a story. I mean, if I just sat down here and talked about Canady Media without telling that story, you're not gonna have context for why I operate the way that I do. So that's why Canady Media is the way it is telling stories like that, because then you're gonna get people understanding, okay, this is the person that's doing this for me. I mean, you do a video for a restaurant, you understand their process, you understand who they are, what their mission is. And so the video production is really where we are and what we love to do. And I mean, it's super niche to Georgia right now. So that's pretty much where we are with Canady Media. Is video production built for Georgia companies. We're still learning and growing every single day. I mean, 6 months into this, I think we've really hit a stride in what we're trying to accomplish. But then again, we've got a far way to go. I mean,
exactly.
I feel very comfortable and confident with the product we put out to our audience and our clients. But I know 3 years from now, I'm gonna look at this and I'm gonna be like, that kid had no idea what he was doing. It's like XYZ with this. And so we've really taken a video production spin on everything, and that's what we want to focus on completely.
Exactly. Tell me a little bit more about it. So you switched to the video production content about 6 months ago. Was that anywhere related to Corona, or is just kind of video requests coming in?
It was a little bit of both.
Okay.
So the way that it ended up panning out was I was doing content creation on social platforms for people. So that was mainly like photographies of their business. So send out a photographer, or I go out there and get the photos for the particular client, and then just schedule that out and post for the client through their social media. COVID, we were going very strong with that, and COVID hit in March. So about April, I started to realize that some of our business-to-business social media clients were dropping off, because if you're not open, then why do you need to market for a closed business?
Exactly.
So, and something that I've noticed a lot, and I'm sure a lot of business owners can relate to this, is that when you're looking at your budget for marketing, the first thing that you can cut is the social media stuff if you're outsourcing that. Because you can say, hey, we can just bring the social media in-house. Everybody knows how to use Instagram. Everybody knows how to do Facebook.
On Facebook.
Exactly. It's just a matter of preference for, do you want this company working with you on that? Or are they doing a phenomenal job in managing your social media and you just really don't want to worry about it? And don't get me wrong, we still do that for a few clients, but we've really gone towards the video production. But the first thing they say is, we'll just keep our stuff in-house. We'll get our manager to run our social media, because she's in the store every day and she can take some pictures with her phone. So the perceived value of what we were doing with social media management started to go down pretty quickly around April. And that was more or less a wake-up call for me, because I was like, okay, I mean, you and me are in the love recurring income. So fixed income that you realize is coming in every month. And you try to develop your business in a way that's going to reflect that. So you know, hey, we've got clients that are under contract where they're paying us X amount per month. So I know this is coming in. Well, when they start dropping out, then you're like, okay, well, I've really got to make something happen here. Exactly. So around, it was more like just a happenstance moment that around April, one of our clients that we were working with ended up asking for a real estate video being done. And he's like, hey, we got this 1,000 square foot house that we just finished renovating. Is there any way you can come out and film it? Do you guys do that at all? And I'm in more panic mode. I go, absolutely. We've done $700 million worth of real estate in the past 40 days, kind of thing. I was like, absolutely, we could take care of this. So I went out, bought some camera gear to be able to do this. I was like, what kind of settings are we gonna roll with this camera? I've never touched anything like this. I have in a photo sense, but definitely not in a videography sense. I didn't understand much about that. And granted, this is 6 months ago, really. And so ended up the realtor for that particular, so it was a property investment company.
Okay.
That would come in, buy an old house, renovate it, and then they would have a realtor sell it. So I ended up going into it, and I met the realtor just through coincidence. He basically said, hey, come by and film this house anytime this afternoon. I'll be in Atlanta. I pull up, I guess it was about 2 or 3 o'clock, and I realized that the realtor had just pulled up behind me for that house. So I go out and introduce myself. I say, hey, I do all the real estate videography for a bunch of people here in Macon.
This is your first client.
It's my first house. I was like, how do I even open the door on this thing?
Yeah.
So she ends up being, I'm not going to disclose her, but she ends up going, oh, fantastic. I cannot wait to see the product that you put out here. Like, I can't wait to see the video, because she's the realtor for the house.
Yeah.
Ended up, I finished up that video. It went very smoothly, being my first one.
Yeah.
And I remember getting back in my car and I go, I want to have this thing done tonight.
Yeah.
I'm sending it to her. End up, she's one of the top realtors in Macon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you know of her. Yeah. Sent over that video that night within like 3 hours. I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And I get a call from her about 3 or 4 days later that the house had sold, and she had about 4 to 5 more listings for me, $500,000 plus. I think 2 of those 5 were over $1 million. And I was like, we're about to strap up here and we're gonna get this done. So took a stride into real estate videography as my first extension of videography as a whole. That was more of a wake-up call. I was like, I need to be offering this as a service to people. So ended up, let's fast forward about 4 months, 3 months actually. Within 3 months, we had done $15 million worth of real estate marketed.
Yeah. That's a lot. So for more context, real estate is typically measured by volume, which is volume you do in a year. So if you're doing $15 million volume a year as an agent, I mean, you're sitting pretty great. Sitting very great. So if you're filming $15 million for real estate, that's a lot of houses. That's a lot to get done, especially if you're only doing it for what, 3-4 months of the job.
Yeah, that was 3 months worth of volume that we had done.
That's incredible.
So yeah, I mean, I think the top real estate agent here in Macon does $20 million annually. And so we had done the marketing for that. Now that's a different thing.
Yeah.
It's not we're producing that, but we are marketing for $15 million worth of houses over that 3-month period. I think it's right around 25 million right about now, about 5 months in.
Yeah.
But we've really hit a stride with that. That basically expanded from the real estate videography into getting a few jobs to do more sit-down interview styles with realtors, because we had built up a lot of reputation with realtors as doing quality video work. So ended up doing a few sit-down interviews with clients and with realtors in particular, because they needed something done with real estate. Ended up finishing a few projects with realtors. It was different because it wasn't a house that you go through. It was like, you actually got to tell a story.
Exactly.
With a house, you can tell a story by just filming the house and the flow of the house, and obviously there are different flows of the house and sound engineering that you want to put into your videos. But when you actually have somebody sitting down telling their story, you've got to develop that differently.
Exactly.
So ended up going into those, and from our perspective and the client's perspective, we did a very, very good job on our first few videos doing exactly that, is telling their story. And I ended up having a few friends that I'm very close with, offered some free videos for, just so I could get my foot in the door with, let me see these film styles, everything like that. And this was about 4 months ago. And so have really just developed a very particular style of video. And that's completely stemmed off of, hey, now we're offering commercial video production and real estate video production is where we really sit. So sit down interviews, telling somebody's story, being able to convey emotion through that is really fun. And while we're in the infancy stages of the videography, in a sense of there are people that have been doing it for 15 years, I'm definitely not at that point, but I'm trying to provide streamlined, quality, cost-efficient services to the Macon community for people that need commercials and videos and everything along those lines. So that's really how I've developed the style. If somebody needed the marketing, if a company's putting aside a marketing budget, that's pretty easy to do. And we try to accommodate to those marketing budgets with quality video content, because if you don't have the video content, you're not telling your story as efficiently as possible. You're not telling your brand story as efficiently as possible, because the whole point of a marketing budget is to do that.
Exactly.
And so we really try to accommodate towards that particular audience. And it's turned out really well so far. So I'm excited to see where the next 6 months go
Yeah.
with real estate videography, with commercial videography as a whole. We've gotten our foot in the door with wedding videography. That's a different mosh pit too. So first of all, thank you guys so much for tuning in to these couple episodes. I mean, we definitely see a great trajectory going with this. We want to bring you a high quality content in Macon that you can rely on. And I mean, I'm super excited about this. I'm probably gonna have this uploaded here in a few hours when I get back and get everything edited. So I'm just super excited for the show. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And it's just a great way to get to know your neighbors. We're so young in business that there's no point in not knowing every single person in your town. By the way, I'm not gonna be on camera that much. So yeah, so this was my time to shine for all you guys. Canady Media is very proud to produce the show and these episodes. So, I mean, we can't wait. I just wanted you guys to know a little bit about me and a little bit about Matthew, because like I said, I'm gonna be behind the camera. I'm gonna be running all the logistics for this show and making sure everything's taken care of properly. Matthew's the people person. He's the one talking to you guys and making sure everything's scheduled so I can come in and provide the best quality service for you guys. But it's just been super fun to produce this show. I'm super young in business, but my job is to put out a high quality product to every single Maconite and neighbor in this town, because I mean, everybody's a neighbor here in Macon at the end of the day. We're in the infancy stages, but it's a lot of fun. You can see something building a mountain. All right, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.